boys, you say that Lord Guthrum sent you here to Viking school to be trained. Let me give you your first lesson on being a Viking. I'm here to burn your church! You see how it works? We have fear on our side. If we can scare them enough, we can do what we want. Now, welcome aboard, boys. Let's do some shooting. Back in a minute. Okay, my friends, I hope I didn't frighten any too much, because I'm a really nice little Viking. Now, listen up. I have a pretty standardized form these days. And basically in the beginning, it's always the weak eye looks at the target. I take a step towards the target and I drag my back foot in. So it's sort of an open stance, a little bit open. I put the arrow up and it's parallel. When I put the arrow up, it's not under my eye and it's not pointing at the target. It goes up parallel. Eye on. Step towards the target. That will keep your eye there. Drag the back foot so it's just comfortable. Put it up. See how it's parallel? That's what I talk about when it's parallel. It's going over there. It's not on the target. And then, when you do that, and you know, if you keep a little tension on that bow, you keep a little tension on the bow, when you put it up, it will go parallel right away. The difference between the straight draw and the rotational draw all changes because of this tension. Now, if I just put my, look at the target, weak eye, take my step, drag my foot in, and put it up, you see how the arrow is pointing over there? This becomes a rotational draw. And right about 4 inches in front of my face, my right hand will come in and the tip will go on. So, watch, I'll demonstrate it. So, we'll draw right now. See it? When my hand got to here, it became a rotational draw. I'll do it again. Look at your target, put it up, draw, and it will swing on right there. That's rotational draw. I prefer the straight draw, generally speaking. Now, the straight draw is exactly the same, other than you line up the arrow before you draw. In other words, start where you finish. That's one of my principles. Start where you finish. It is more efficient. So, put the eye on, take the little step, drag it in. Now, a little tension on the bow, and when I put it up, you see how it goes parallel right away? So when it's parallel right away, now what I do is I turn my head until my eye is looking parallel along that arrow. And when I do that, see, I can do a straight draw. It goes straight to here. It didn't go around and in. Straight. That's how I prefer to draw, And it kind of works like this, it's like, sort of like eye on, take my little step, drag my foot in, put it up, line up my eye, straight back, bam. Right? And the hand stays on the face, because if you initiate the release by pushing forward, your hand can stay there. And sometimes it's called the dead man release or whatever you want to call it, but it works better than all this pulling and moving. I'm not into moving. I want it to be fairly straight when I shoot, But it's eye on, drag it in, put it up parallel, get the eye, draw straight, and then relax, and your hand will stay there. Okay? So, let's see. Oh yeah, something else I want to tell you. This is how I relax my arm. When my arm comes all the way back, at first I can actually feel the relaxation from my elbow along my forearm. Then I feel the back of my hand and my wrist relax. Then I feel all the tension on my knuckles up here. But finally, I feel all the pressure on my fingers. And I can only do that if I relax from there to there to there to there to here. That's how I relax, okay? Once I get it in that spot, if I initiate with a push, it will just stay there. But it only stays there because I'm not pulling with the back muscles. I've got nothing to do with squeezing eggs or lemons in my back. Nothing. It's all in the arms. These two little boys control it. These two arms have to be strong enough to make that bow go where it goes. And these two guys have to work together. Anyhow, that's it. Relax. Feel the tension, the weight here, feel the weight here, feel the weight here, feel the weight right on your fingertips, and now just let the front hand overcome the back hand. Plop. Back in a minute. Okay, guys. So let me explain the benefit of reaching out, I call it. We need to have a consistent draw. Now, what part of that means is that if we put the same amount of pressure into the bow, it will shoot the same way. But if we put more pressure into it, just like we had more gunpowder in a gun, it will go farther. So we want to have a steady amount of pressure. Now, these days I'm using a permanent anchor. That is to say, I take this finger and it goes right in where my jaw curves, right there. I just touch it and I can feel that spot. So that's where I go. Now, to get a consistent length, I have to have my front arm at the same distance. If this is always the same, and I'm here, I'm not getting the power as if I was here, or here, or here. Okay? So to be consistent, and if we're going to use a permanent anchor, what I suggest is reaching out, is what I call it. And you reach out until your arm is at full stretch and it's comfortable, okay? Whatever that is for you. And then you just draw against that length until you get here. And so it kind of works like this, but it's, weak eye on, take my little step, drag my back foot in, put it up parallel, get my eye along it, and then I do my straight draw, and I had my arm at the same length. And that's an important factor. Okay, that's an important factor. So, again, weak eye on, step towards the target, drag my back foot in, put it up parallel, check my eye, draw straight, bam. Right? So, having your arm set at the same distance and drawing against it is a better way of shooting. And there's another thing. I generally, or pretty well always these days, squint my left eye. Okay? I'll explain this right after I take this great shot. Weak eye on, little step towards it, drag my back foot in, put it up parallel, draw straight, bam. Okay, look. When you start to squint your eye, what really happens? Your pupil expands. As your eye closes, the pupil will expand because it's like it's getting darker. So this allows you to aim a little bit better. Now, I aim with my weak eye, not my dominant eye. My weak eye goes on, because if my weak eye is on, the dominant one's on automatically. But because the dominant one's on doesn't mean this guy's on. So, you need to take something. Let's pretend that this flat surface here is a wall. Go to the wall and put your head by the wall, and then just turn your head until you can see that the wall is parallel to where you're looking. It won't be like this. It's on an angle. There it is there. Now it's straight. So if you go to a wall, put your head by the flat wall and turn your head, after a while you'll get used to this straight line. That's what you want to see on your arrow when you're drawing, that parallel, you know. But anyhow, I will squint my left eye, and that gives me a much better focus. Now, this is another thing I want you to do. Take your bow and hold it out in front of you and look at something on the wall. And you'll see that your hand is quite fuzzy looking, but you can see the thing on the wall clearly. But now just squint your eye just a little bit. All of a sudden, you can see your hand and you can see the target. That's how you have to aim. You have to see your arrow, you have to see your hand, you have to see where it's lining up. You can't just see the target. It's all blurry, it could be going anywhere. Because if it's off just that much, it's going to go. So, turn your head, get your little weak eye on there, squint them just a little bit until the two of them come in perfect focus, and you will see that you can see your hand and your arrow, and that's how you're going to aim. Okay? Yeah. Oh, it's nice to be a nice Viking. Eye on, little step, drag the back foot in, put it up parallel, draw straight, got my little squint going, bam! That's all you got to do. Okay, have fun. Bye now.
Register now at playolg.ca and
Hey,
get
buddy.
a $30 sign-up bonus.
Having a good day?
Nova Scotia RCMP say a suspect wanted in connection with a shooting involving several victims is now in custody. Police say there are multiple victims, but so far have not said how many people have been killed or injured. The incident began last night in Portapique. Police launched a search for 51-year-old Gabriel Wortman.
Good to have a friend.
RCMP said earlier
That's
that
for
the
sure.
suspect was driving a car that looked like a police vehicle and later said he was in another vehicle.
The news is always the same.
In the area of that rural town where
Anyhow,
the incident began on Saturday night to stay
you guys
in
have a
their
good
homes
week.
with doors locked. CTV public
I'll
safety
talk to you
analyst
later.
Chris
Bye
Lewis
now.
commented on the incident and is